And I mean, I'm sure there are, any entrepreneur who would be listening or watching this podcast would want to know that. I mean, we've spoken about it earlier as well. That how did you start each of the businesses? How do you manage your time? And so let's assume you're doing one business, which is management, and you have 10 artists there, and you grow up to 20 artists. Now you have to start another business. How do you take that leap? Is there a process of setting a business to a certain extent, or researching, or what is exactly? How do you start so many businesses and run them together?
Yeah. I think if I think from today and go backwards, but people sometimes say, oh, you wear a lot of hats. And I say, no, I only wear one hat. I'm the CEO and founder of Unified Music Group. And so my job is to make sure this whole thing runs. So that's how it works today. So it's not like one day I work on this, the next day I work on that. Every day I work on one thing. But if I look back, there probably wasn't much science to how I did it. I mentioned before watching the film and saying, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. There's probably times where I did too much at the same time and maybe didn't think things through as much. I've often used the word unified has been an organic evolution. We've just organically evolved where opportunities have presented themselves. So I think ultimately you want to make sure you've got enough time and space to do everything right. But I also think as an entrepreneur, you need to be ready to respond when opportunity arrives. And that opportunity is not always going to arrive at the exact perfect time. So you've got to kind of make the most of those opportunities.
What are you working on next right now? Because I don't think you'll stop at 9 businesses.
No, I probably won't. I mentioned this very inspiring man I met yesterday, Sanjeev, who's a private equity fund manager here in India. And he's in his 60s and he said, keep doing it until you don't want to do it. If you're still having fun and if you're still inspired, keep going. So at this point, that's how I feel. So I'm going to go for as long as I can. I'm very interested in building this community music business, making sure we provide these tools and services to help artists release music in the most efficient way. I really believe a lot in that. Alongside that, I'm very interested in how we can build more like financial tools for artists. So in the old record label deals, you would sign a contract and get an advance and the label would own everything. I'm interested in thinking how do we make money available to artists in different ways, whether it's debt financing or thinking about venture capital and how that might relate to artists. So that's sort of like an area that I'm very interested in. Continuing to innovate through side stage ventures is really a big thing for us. And then, like I've touched on a few times, like really thinking very carefully about Asia and how we can do more business in Asia, because I really think Australia has got a big opportunity being so close to Asia to be able to do more business together. So that's an area that we're very heavily focused on. And there'll be more stuff. More opportunities are coming all the time. And so it's about making sure we say yes at the right time and no when we feel like we've got enough on our plate.